So, to kind of go along what we were saying there, how can you stabilize your torso? And other things. If you don't have a stable system, the body has to do other things because safety goes over performance every time. You've got to find a way to stabilize the body before you push. Here's a pre and post. You guys want me to show you the pre and post? Yes, okay. I have to go to other film here because they have not invented, or at least not invented, a program that I know of that I can move my video around in slow-mo. Wrong one. I'll go with this one. We're calling this the Jamar experiment. When you watch him run from the side, he does everything right. He looks great. Right? Knees come up, good torso position. That's my street, by the way. That's where we do all of our running. When you watch him from the front, watch his feet kerplop. They're like pancakes or mashed potatoes hitting the ground, okay? Literally looks like a duck running. See his feet? So he had to figure out, he's got everything else in the world going for him, and he wants to go to state in long jump. So he said, you know what, we've got to make your feet more rigid. That's what's holding you back at this point. They have to be stable. So, here's the after. Oh, look, we got masks on COVID. Ugh. See how his feet look completely different? What does that look like in numbers? When we started, and this is not free lap time, this is real triple laser timing, real lasers. I have speed lights. You guys know speed light? It's that Australian company. It's 3 beams, small fortune, but accurate. They don't blow over. They don't get messed up. When we started, he ran a 109 fly 10. When we finished, he ran a 101. Going into his best long jump was 18.6, and then he jumped 22.4 when we were done. All we did was change his feet because he had bad feet. They weren't stable. So if you start looking at what's going on here, really the rigidity of that foot has a huge role in power development, power absorption, power development. In fact, they think that the fatty pad of the ball of your big toe absorbs 30% of the force when you hit the ground. So if you grab someone's foot and they don't have a fatty pad on the front part of the foot, they're not going to run fast because there's nothing there to protect the bones. So you make them walk barefoot, build the fatty pad. How many people have puppies or dogs? That's it? Come on, be proud that you have dogs. Dogs are awesome. Remember when they were puppies and the pads, their feet were really soft? And like, wow, I can't believe how soft these are. And now I have giant dogs. They're like sandpaper getting you. That's all fatty pad that's developed over time. So, let's build good feet. If you don't have good feet, it's hard to run fast. That's a bad foot. I am pushing that way. So when I go to run, I've got a push coming this way, so to counterbalance that, I have to throw this arm forward. If you watch someone from the top with the drone, you can see it perfectly. My son wanted to charge me for that footage, even though I bought the drone, so we're fighting over that right now. There's a good foot. I'm on the ball in my big toe. I know I'm going to press forward. Remember, you have to be the strongest at the finish of your movement. Like Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player in all time, right? You know all the shootings in Chicago you read about in the newspaper every week? You know what all those shootings are about? Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player of all time. Or Walter Payton, greatest football player of all time. Those are all people from out of town coming in, not saying those things. They're getting shot. That's how it is in Chicago. So Jordan, you can knock him any different way, but he always ends up like this, right? It's going in. You know it's going in. Same thing when I'm pushing forward, I want to end on that ball of my big toe, so no matter who hits me, bumps me, whatever I'm doing, it's still going that way. You can stand up and go up and do a calf raise yourself, and if you're pushing off the outside of your foot, you have one half of your calf dominating the other half of your calf. Bad thing is it's mostly because of the shoes that we're all wearing. Nike shoes, especially, remember Nike went through the freeze? Remember those horrible slippers with an elevated heel? That pushed you into this. So everyone thought they were cool because they had cool Teflon colors or whatever. It's really making you a worse athlete. So here's where we start. This is how I start every track season and every athlete that I work with. I have to get you a good foot. So if I pick up my toes, I should have equal pressure to create a tripod in my foot. Right? That's what we want. If I elevate that heel, I've wrecked that tripod with shoes. That's why people have zero drop shoes or whatever you've got going on. If I go to one foot, can I keep that the same? More importantly, can I pick up my toes and hold that tripod? So you should be able to pick up your toes and find that tripod in balance. If you want to mess with people, I'm going to take away your environmental monitoring. Close your eyes and see if you can stand on one foot. Now you know what that foot truly does without keeping a horizon or a target. Want to mess with people more? Have them cover up one ear. Environmental monitoring, right? Do we use our hearing to navigate? We do. That's like dogs going through the forest. You ever watch dogs run through the forest and they turn their ears this way? So they can see here and they can hear things coming from the side. It's really quite amazing. Then can I come up and hold that position and get to my big toe and hold that? So if you're truly developing sprinting in the weight room, that has to be your finished position. Because we want to get strong at the end. We don't want to get strong halfway through because that's when you're going to pick that foot up off the ground and you're not going to get all that tendon work. So we invented the spring ankle model. How many people are familiar with spring ankle model? Just different positions. That's my basement. That's my aquarium sump. I have a big saltwater aquarium. In fact, that oxygen machine that I did yesterday, it gave me a nightmare. You know what my nightmare was? That someone put a giant grouper in my aquarium and ate all of my fish. That's what I woke up to. I swear to God. I couldn't believe it. That was my nightmare. I thought, oh my God, someone ate my, oh my God, I'm in Wichita, Kansas, that's right. My fish are okay. Bent knee, now I'm soleus. Gastroc straight leg, soleus bent knee. You got to be balanced because they both do different things. You can get crazy and go off the edge, which is really hard. It takes a lot of foot strength to be able to hold the rigidity of that foot when I'm just pressing off the ball. And then I can really strengthen the finished position. I can press into the wall. If I press into the wall with 100 newtons, how much is that wall pushing back at me? They don't do physics here? 100 newtons that way, wall is pushing back. 100 newtons, who came up with that idea? Ike Newton, that's right. His friends called him Ike. It's a great drill. You can change different positions and work on different foot positions in that point. Everyone's got a wall, right? He can't get extension out of that foot. He can. See the difference between the two? That's the best he's going to get. Until I change that, he's not going to run any faster. Get more soleus. I can bend my knee and press into the wall. This is easy to do in between sets. You have someone go up to the wall and press into the wall in between your sets. Our first 3 weeks of track practice, this year it was only 2 weeks, we did not run, we just pressed into the wall and did different positions. We strengthened psoas and foot positions into the wall. Why am I going to make you run if I can't get you in those positions, right? If I'm not strong in those positions. Here he is doing a raise. He's trying to, struggling. Here's the key. You've got to bring your heel over your big toe when you do these exercises. That is the only way that you are going to push straight. So that's exactly what this person is doing. They're bringing their heel up inside. I call it inside because people go over and they're going to push out this way to bring that heel up and in. And we're going to talk about this a lot more later when we get to more propulsion. But that's got to be your finished position. If you have an imbalance in calf strength, you will come off to the side. So that means you're either going to leave the ground early before you actually get a push, or you're going to push the wrong way. Then after that push comes, your body has to straighten that all out to get to your target. It's the only way it happens. Ankle rocker, this is your ability to move your shin forward. If you can't bring that shin forward, you will find a way to compensate. You have all this mass. I weigh 200 pounds, so it's 500 pounds of pressure coming down. If I can't move it forward this way, I'm going to find another way to get around that. So I can even go like this, start swinging my hips, I can swing arms, I can put my head back, my butt back, forward, turn my feet in. There's all these compensation patterns that happen if you cannot move your mass forward just using your ankle. If your feet don't do the work, the rest of your body will. So I tell people, let your feet run, let the rest of your body play sport. Because think about this, if I'm going for a fade pass or doing something, my arms are running this way and I'm looking back for the ball, I can't track that ball very well, can I? Just don't say anything. So here's really good ankle rocker. I won't say who this is. I got this film illegally. But Jess was there too. NFL wide receiver with really good ankle rocker. That's all he had is really good ankle rocker because he can bring his shins forward over his toes. See how his shins kind of bend forward and he brings his whole knee down a little bit when he runs? That's the best we could do at an NFL facility too. Legally. We had to go hide to do this because you're not allowed to do this. Ken Clark stuff. Now we're going to try and keep the torso stable once you've got your feet stable. He can hold that position. Remember I said knee is underneath butt. See how that long leg comes out? That pelvis is tilted back and down. He's never going to recover from that. So he's got to find a way to get the rest of his body forward so he'll excessively lean, do all kinds of different things. At track meets, I always film the end of the crappy 200s because that's where I get to see all the different form stuff come out because people aren't meant to go that far. And you can see all the different compensation patterns of people trying to make it to the end when they've expended all their energy doing all this kind of stuff for the first 150 meters. And then they all come apart at the end. So it's great video time. Some different core exercises. We do that one on Tuesdays. We play it again. Watch how the people walk around like this is common. Like they see this all the time. Like it's no big deal. Or this one, this is Thursdays. So, when we can get this all together, you are driving through your body. We want to get as much of our mass in front of what we're driving to go forward. If you have things that are coming off, you're not driving all the way through your body. That foot looks pretty good, right? It's kind of underneath his hip. Foot tracks straight. Watch this right one. See how it flicks off to the side right there? He's pushing somewhere else. So he can either swing an arm to try and get more mass in front, or he's twists his whole torso to get in front of that. Big guy trying to make it in the NFL. So he drives, he pushes. See how his butt is behind where he's thrusting? See how his butt kind of stays behind? That foot hits early, and now his whole mass, all 240 pounds of him, is behind. So it's a much bigger struggle to get out. This guy plays for Manchester United. I don't know his name. He just sent me stuff to help him run faster. I don't care for soccer except for Ted Lasso. So I don't know his real name. I could look it up, but. So first foot kind of flips off to the side. But again, he's pushed out so hard that his body is in front of where he drives. So when he drives, his mass is in front of what he's driving through. So the second step is really good. You can see his butt is out in front of his knee. So when he drives, he's driving everything forward. Or, this guy plays for, I think he still plays for the Patriots. But again, you can see his first movement is to get his hips out in front. So when he drives, he is driving his entire mass forward. Now remember I talked about twisting and contra-twisting and all that, that's where your power comes from. Watch his right leg. Knee twists out, hip twists in, spine twists out. So when he goes to extend, he's got all that torque. See how he's all twisted right there? That's everything twisting, so he gets more out of just a regular straight ahead push. So think about that. His foot hit at about 1.5 yards, so he projected his body 4 feet before his foot hits the ground. That's pretty good. That's why he makes a lot of money. But again, we're seeing how everything kind of twists against itself. That is him creating torque in his entire system. So he's just not pressing with his leg. His whole body is working together to straighten and press his body forward. Again, twisted and driving out. It's going to be the same. Can she get her body out in front? See how she's in a pushing position, her hips are over her knee. She's in that parallel position like I talked about in the squat. That's what allows her to get out. She made it about 3 feet before her foot hits the ground. That's pretty good. But again, you can see how her torso from the side stays completely still as she creates all this power, because when she pushes, her body is staying in front of what she's pushing.